Well, we have a dancing squad here on Town Hall, and the overlay, everything is going right today. The overlay is broken, but welcome to Town Hall, episode number 35, the Heroes of the Storm podcast, where we talk about the competitive community and everything happening within the meta, and I guess just the community in general. I'm your host, Solid Jake, and I am joined by my typical co-hosts, Zoya, Sham Bam, but we got Sia Steve and Wade Penfold, Mr. Dreadnought of Symbiote Gaming here. Now, Sia Steve's filling in for Kubi, as Kubi is in Japan, and I miss him dearly. And hopefully the audio is good tonight, because we just had a chaotic pre-show trying to get everything up and running. But how is everyone? How was everyone's weekend?
I was good.
That was pretty good.
I think it was fun.
Can you throw to one person at a time so we're not all being weird about it?
All right. Zoya, why don't you start then?
My weekend was pretty good. I got to watch Kings of the Storm, which was a lot of fun. Good job, guys, on that event. We'll talk about that more in depth later. I played a lot of heroes this last week. I'm already level 40. I'm very close to having my money pig. Soldier, because he's ridiculous, got his 5 days before me. But I'm so close to having it. I don't know, it was just lots and lots of heroes. I didn't play, and a little bit of Hearthstone. I'm rank 4. I might make Legend. It just depends. I know I can do it. It's just from rank 5 to Legend, for those of you who haven't been there, you don't get win streak bonuses anymore. You have to take it one game at a time. So it's super grindy getting that Legend, and if I take the games, I can do it, but we'll see.
I stop at rank 5 because it's just too much of a grind for me personally.
Just depends on the cards that get played, right, Zoya?
Yep. The heart of the cards, man. Heart of the cards.
Of the cards.
Wearing my Zerg shirt because why not?
Sham 2, how was your weekend? What did you do? Anything exciting?
Friday I went karaoke. That was pretty cool. And then Saturday, I was hungover, so I ate $13 worth of Taco Bell while getting ready to watch King of the Storm. Then I watched King of the Storm while playing a whole bunch of Hearthstone. Like Zoya, I'm pretty good at the game. I'm ranked 20 right now.
Dude, I saw you playing earlier today.
Nice,
I was hyped.
Yeah, I was and then I've gotten sick again. This has happened again. I've gotten another cold. I don't know why. And my next couple of weeks, I'm going to be traveling around a lot, so I don't know how much Heroes I'm going to be able to play, but rip.
Well, you brought up Kings of the Storm. Sia Steve, why don't you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. I don't have to tell you about it. You know what it is. We did it together.
Do it for me, gosh.
Oh, God. All right, so it's a tournament that we hosted this last Saturday. Another one's coming up on this Saturday. And it was fun. It was a single elimination tournament. We had 15 teams, and the guy sitting down there was one of the winners. So that's it'll be cool to talk to him about what happened, and we'll be able to go over it. It was fun. I liked it. We casted, almost 10 hours worth of content, I think it was.
9.5 hours. We were live, just casting. It was the first ever live event tournament where every single game was played live. Now, we didn't cast every game, and we released a replay pack, and Zoya actually started casting some of those. But Dreadnought, as a player that participated in the first Heroes live tournament, what was your experience? I mean, was it weird? Was it ran decently?
Was it just awful? Did I do a terrible job?
No, it was pretty good. I would say the only thing that was really weird for us was the teams that we haven't ever heard of or played before, in the early stages. I didn't have any of the players, and you guys were mid cast, and I was trying to figure out how do I contact these 5 guys, because I have no idea who any of them are.
That's what the team document was for that I sent every captain.
Oh, well then I failed on that part. But other than that, it only took 5 minutes, and eventually somebody gave me the contact, and it worked out. That was my only complaint.
That's good.
Other than the semifinals between Snowflake and Glorious took forever, so we were sitting there just watching them over and over again. But I mean, it was still a good time, fun to watch the games.
Yes, best of 5 semifinals ended up being if those both went to Game 5, Matt, rip.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Spoilers.
Welcome to casting a DreamHack, man. Zoya, you know the horrible.
DreamHack's the worst.
Oh man, it's 13 hours of casting at least every time.
Yeah.
So you guys better get used to that, because once DreamHack comes around to Heroes of the Storm, which it will,
it'll be a good
get ready.
Yeah, it was. I mean, personally,
if we're not all on the stage, that is
right.
Oh, hey-oh.
Well, personally, it was probably the hardest thing I've done in a long time because it was kind of like being thrown into the gauntlet. It's like, okay, you've casted once before, you have no observing experience, and you're going to produce this event all at the same time, and
your computer's laggy as hell.
Oh gosh, my computer never lags. That's the weird thing. But
It didn't
apparently,
lag during the event, did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Like, there was
Remember the
one
mines?
moment in Haunted Mines.
during the mines.
yeah, but
Yes, he would zoom
I thought
out
you were
and
talking about, like, in
he would
general.
crap on it.
But-
It's not even. It wasn't even Zoom. Like
It's-
Haunted Mines in replay, and I watched the game here on my computer, and it just ruined it. And my computer is like leagues better than his. And like I don't know what it is with the replays in
It's
Haunted
just-
Mines.
yeah.
Like the lighting down bottom just ruins everything. It's like, okay, that's gonna get a quick little bug report sent off. All right.
I guess
So-
because it's processing 10 different players, the lightings, and how
Yeah,
they
well, so-
see everything.
But why is
Yeah.
the game
So
not doing
when
that
you go
normally?
down, well, yeah, well, okay. Well, when you go down into Haunted Mines, every hero becomes a light source, like just an
Yeah.
actual light source.
Yeah.
And so it's just like throwing light everywhere, and it's just when like two or more are stacked on top of each other, the game just goes, I don't know what's happening, and it just blows up.
That's
And
honestly
then every
something.
spell-
Whoa, what's
light
what's
source.
going on?
Yeah. And then like you have like one divine storm ends up becoming like a black hole, and then
Oh my
everything
gosh.
just dies.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so bad.
well.
We had
can-
a divine storm and a shock and awe on top of each other, and we didn't see anything that happened.
Nope.
It just like stopped, and then people died, and it was like, oh well, I guess that team fight went well for them.
Oh,
I
I'm curious.
guess-
Like in StarCraft, we used to have issues where like if one of the observers was lagging, it caused the game to
Yeah.
lag itself.
Right.
yeah.
It
The
didn't do that.
servers for heroes seem much better.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
It doesn't run on the same
Because
technology.
like if someone on the other team, like in StarCraft, like if your opponent starts to DC, the whole game like just
Yep.
waits. Like,
right.
But we don't have that hit issue in Heroes.
Thank,
So
thank gosh, it's
Yeah, thank
it's
God.
much
Seems
better
much-
because I was actually terrified. Initially, we were going to use my laptop as the secondary computer. I'm like, that's going to cause all the games to lag. I was like, we
Yeah.
can't use that thing because it's going to cause all the players to lag, and that's a bad experience. But that actually isn't the case. So, yeah, the
We
replay
hijacked
client.
the Koopa
good job, Blizzard. Better
So-
servers.
Well, before we announce all our topics, let's actually just talk about the replay client because that's actually not on our show notes. So super bare bones. Amazing to have it, but it's super bare bones. So the features that I'm just gonna say what we need to have in there. I don't know if you guys saw the broadcast, but we had the heroics on the side.
How did you do that, by the way?
It's
No,
not something
secret.
that anyone
Trade
can
secret.
do. It's not-
I figured it out.
I told
They
you.
copied.
Kevin. I
No,
told you.
Oh yeah, you
I
did.
told
Damn it.
you. Gosh, don't act smart. It's
Actually,
not,
really,
wow.
you didn't actually really tell me that much. You were just like, oh, this, and this, and I was like, that didn't tell me anything.
I gave you the gist of it, but it's not something that pretty much anybody's gonna be able to execute. It's really only you need a boatload of equipment.
Why trying to keep all these trade secrets to yourself? Are you trying to hurt the heroes community?
Question: can you do it in replays?
No, it's not built
Jared,
in. Place.
you need a second computer and a capture card.
Yeah, you need a
and,
second computer.
and you need to use two clients running the game. It's very difficult. It's,
Oh,
it's
screw that
that is
noise.
not at all
Screw
built
that.
into the client.
Not worth the effort.
Not
was-
worth the effort at all.
There was a ton of extra work
Look,
to
I mean,
execute
I'm sure
the
they'll
heroics
put it
on
in.
the side. Corey's computer is right here. We ripped his whole rig out. We
Did you
built-
not put
we
it back?
built, like,
You said
this-
you
Ripped it out.
from his room. I didn't put it back yet because we might be using it this weekend, Matt.
We are.
So yes, we need to have that in there eventually, or some kind of talent things. And the next production, we'll probably be able to look at the talents live too. We'll be able to pull it up on the fly if the stream just wants to see it, and it'll be in the corner rather than the middle of the screen. That's something I'm going to be adding in there, and really just the fact that when you're observing and you can't press 1 through 0 to select the players drives me nuts.
Yeah, I can't believe they took that away.
Drives me nuts because
That
I
was
just
assaulting me this morning.
yeah.
They really need
it's-
something like they have in StarCraft, where you can
Uh,
toggle between what teams can see and what teams can't see, even if it's not for actual live casting, but going back and viewing replays for analysis for teams.
Yeah.
And
Super.
more than 2 observer slots, like Nick says in chat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
coming.
Yes.
That
Yes.
comes with time, but
I mean,
yeah.
We'll
even
get
just
there.
a third, because if we could have an observer and 2 casters, I mean, that's the best case scenario. I mean,
Because
I know
Jake's
that's
observing sucks. Huh?
it is. It's bad. If we're doing a tournament this weekend, Matt's obsing. He has no choice. Just because
It's
I'm
hard,
doing,
man.
I'm-
It's really hard to observe and cast at the same time. I remember when I first started going to things where they had a dedicated observer, and I was like,
So
this is
Yeah.
so much easier.
yeah. I mean,
The reason I don't want to do it is because I usually do color stuff, and when the color caster is doing camera work and play-by-play isn't, then you start talking, the play-by-play person will start talking, and they'll follow the fight as it goes to the right, but then sometimes I'll follow it while it goes to the left, and then you're just talking about 2 different things, and the camera disjoints from the actual action. So it gets a little messy, but we'll try it.
I
See what we do.
think it'll be good just because when I'm
do like half and half.
I'm thinking about the sound levels, and there was a few situations where it's like I wish I could go into XSplit and change something. And if you're obsing, there's a lot more production things that can do live on the fly. Like for example, that'll allow me to pull up the talents in a really beautiful fashion, so that it shows it on the screen, and just a lot of extra stuff. So you'll be obsing, but I'll be doing like some extra flavor on top of it. It's not that I want to learn how to obs, but I just really want to open the doors for that kind of stuff. So the whole stream doesn't care about what we're going to do for the next one. They just want to see it happen. So, in today's show, after the longest introduction ever, 20 minutes long, yes, we're going to be talking about a-newb and Azmo Nova. We have our Nova specialist here. And we're not doing a deep dive. There's just too much happening after the launch. Again, just a second week without a deep dive. There's no Kubi's questions because he forgot to give Matt a Kubi's question. He was supposed to leave one with you, but we don't have
okay.
it.
Kubi's questions from the grave.
We'll just consider that first 20 minutes to be what the time slot would have been.
Hey, Dreadnought.
Yeah.
I like that jacket, man.
Oh, thank you.
It looks nice.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Hot topic on Reddit. We're going to be talking about the gold gain. We're going to be talking about the changes to towers in the client, Blizzcon Drama, and of course, Kings of the Storm 2. Now, let's hop right into a-newb, Marak, and Dreadnought. In Kings of the Storm, we saw a lot of really solid a-newb play out of you, and we actually heard Snowflake say, we were choosing Chen because we don't know how to counterplay a-newb. They just don't know how to play against him. And, just tell me about a-newb, How do you feel about him? Give me your first impressions off him to start the bat.
He's a pretty solid character all around. I think he's very... almost high risk, high reward. Not such a high risk, but he is pretty up there. He's not very tanky, but he also can do a lot of things if he ends up being played properly. He's just really when you commit, you're in there, and if you've committed at the wrong time, you're gonna get punished really hard. So, but he's definitely a good character. I wouldn't say that he's a must pick in every composition and everything else, but he definitely is a character that should be noted in the competitive scene and in solo queue and everything else.
Are you taking Locust Swarm or the
I've taken both, and I think they're both really situational. My biggest issue with the web wrap, don't remember the name of that one.
That's it. Yeah.
Web wrap.
Oh, well, the issue with the web wrap is that it actually can be damaged by AoE ticking spells. So, for instance, if you lay it on an Arthas while a Vol is strafing, it's dead in a second.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. So it's
that's
not auto-attack based.
Should have been on Vol.
Yeah, well, that is the problem. But when you consider it that way, there's so many AoE spells in the game that it is very unlikely you will get the full effective time in a team fight with it. So the only time I really see it having a huge advantage is during a chasing scenario where there's more than one target that you're chasing down. You isolate the one that you might not get, kill the one that's closest to you, and then surround that one remaining. So it's not I think I went mainly Locust Swarm. The whole tournament I went Locust Swarm, but I think both are viable. Just one's a lot harder to use than the other.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in real quick. So for a little while we had builds that were Stitches and Zeratul, where you get Pick and then Void Prison. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Void Prison and Web Wrap play together like that?
I thought about that, and it would work pretty dang well. I don't know. Void Prism is such a strong spell naturally that it's to say any ult to synergize with it would work out pretty well. I just think if you build an entire team comp dedicated to such heavy plays, then you're already picking your comp wrong. So if web wrap is the saving grace, you're doing it wrong. So I don't know. I would say that's a decent idea, and the isolation that you can get could really benefit your team, but at the same time it can be easily counterplayed. So
the problem I have with web wrap is the situation I see it being really valuable is in situations where you don't have an interrupt, where you want to get rid of the ETC dance or the Witch Doctor Mosh or the Witch Doctor Ravenous Spirit, but he's already got so many interrupts that there's a lot of overlap with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main problem I have with it. It's I think it's more situational than Locust Swarm. It's just very, very specific situations where you'd want it.
I don't know if it's really so much that it overlaps, because you look at somebody like Diablo. His ultimate or his heroic, you can either choose to do more damage that he always lacks, or you can do more CC, which is something like Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is always going to be the better choice, and that overlaps with the rest of his kit. I think
but
it's more so
big AoE CCs.
Yeah, but I think it's better for a-newb to have just more survivability. He's really good at getting into the middle of a group and doing a lot of stuff, and I think Locust Swarm really synergizes with that well. a lot better than I think Web Rap
Help.
Help, man.
Good a-newbs can do a lot of damage too. Like at first, I thought he was too weak.
Oh yeah.
Like
No,
he initially seemed like he was just going to be a good initiator and a little bit tanky depending on if you play him right. But I played with a noob today that was just almost topping charts. Like you can do some serious damage with Locust Swarm.
And you know what's really kind of weird with a-newb, and I was playing around with this build on Sunday night, is that you can build all towards beetles. The only thing that's like really terrible about it is that the beetles are dumb as hell.
Yeah, they are. The pathing.
They're like, okay, cool, I hit that one thing for you, dude. I'm just gonna go this way now. And I'm like, okay, great. It's like if you can get engagements when there's no neutral creeps or no creeps at all around you, the beetles do so much damage. Like they're really good at what they do at that point, and you actually heal. I was like the second top most healed hero in the game with that. The only issue is that the beetles are so goddamn dumb, and they just will be like, all right, dude, that was cool, thanks for bringing me up out of nowhere. I'm just gonna go not help you now. I'm just gonna go this way. It's cool, it's all right. I got friends over here.
Yeah.
It just pisses me off every time. It's like, I'm just gonna attack this tower, that's cool.
Yeah, the
because
AI targets non-heroic units first, which doesn't really make sense.
If they just made it anything like Rainer's Raiders or anything like that, it would be such a good build.
Oh no, it just kind of goes back to like leaping spiders. You have to take that talent because if you don't, then you're not ever going to hit a hero with spiders, especially when there's minions around. Like they either need to implement talents that allow it to prioritize heroes, like leaping spiders does, or just make it by default.
It's full
Just
micro.
make
You
it by
control
default.
every little locust.
Every little spider from Witch Doctor.
You just full micro everything. Oh
I
my
wish.
God. That'd
I
be
wish.
so intense.
So I have a question for Dreadnought about his opinions against. So Snowflake was going Chen, right, against your a-newb rack. They didn't know how to handle your a-newb, and they were playing Chen as a result. Why Chen and not someone like Diablo? Because when I was thinking about it, it seemed like Apocalypse would be a much better option than just Flying Kick and Storm Earth and Fire.
I would argue for that specific team, it's comfort. They practice Chen far more and pick Chen far more than most of the other teams do. So that was why they picked it. It's because they felt that they needed somebody in the front line, disruptive, but also something that they're used to playing. When you look at the entire competitive history since, we'll say, the start of the ECS, there's been a total of 3 Diablo players. And even though there's been a lot of Diablo playing, you might not have realized I was one of them, Poom was one of them, and I believe there was one other that I can't think of off the top of my head. Sham too, but... Okay, but Diablo wasn't a very big pick for many, many teams, and for a long time, like, I held Diablo to be a good pick. Like, in King of the Nexus versus ESP Wildfire, I picked Diablo every game. Diablo isn't that bad, but he recently has gotten hurt a little bit now. So he wasn't that bad before. The only issue with him, APOC is a game-changing ultimate, and if you don't have a setup for it, or you don't have a big enough melee, like need to group up composition by your opponents, you're going to have a hard time. And the reason for that is not because of the APOC's hard to hit, it's because the APOC's cooldown is far longer than most ults, especially for the current characters in the game. So a lot of the issues we would have is like, okay, well, land a perfect APOC, and if you didn't smash that team fight, the next team fight, they're going to want far earlier than you ever will. And another thing is, he was now been nerfed with health. He's been, and Rhaegar is a direct counter to him. One Bloodlust means nobody gets hit by an APOC unless there was a setup beforehand. And that is a very rare scenario. So overall, not only do they not have a very, at least they haven't shown ever, Diablo player, they also, Diablo got hurt last patch, and Rhaegar hurt him even worse, so it's like a mixture of all those things together. If I was in that scenario, would I have taken him? And that would have been probably still a no, just because of his last nerf, last patch.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal answer.
Yeah. And they'll go back to their comfort pick. Like, LZ's Chen, from the game, like the games I cast from the replays and just watching his Chen, like from streams and stuff, like his Chen is real. Like they play Chen a lot.
Yes.
They play him a lot, and they're the only team doing it right now. So it's good in the sense that like most people don't know how to deal with a good Chen because LZ's Chen is really solid.
We saw a lot of Chen. We saw a lot of Chen this weekend, actually.
He was one of the more. I think he was in the top picks.
Really?
Like he was top 3, top 4.
I don't remember a lot of the picks.
I have to go back and look, but
tournaments become a blur to
right
me
now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Reddit thread, you can tell.
He was picked 44% of the games.
Wow.
Yeah, he was played a lot.
He was up there, yeah, for sure.
That chug, man, it's too good.
Good chug.
It was funny. It was funny watching Soldier. You guys played against someone, and Soldier kept getting Hydras sent on him from Zagara,
and
he would just be like, "Okay, I'll just drink," and it just completely nullified it. And it was like, "All right."
Game
laning against a Chen is so frustrating in solo lane.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like you might as well just sit there and AFK farm because you're not gonna kill him.
Yeah, unless you have like, I think I'm okay with Nova going against Jen because you can get the damage in before you can brew, if you time it for appropriately. But you have to be super safe because he'll jump on you and ruin your day.
That he will. That was actually one of the cooler things to see in the meta, though. Just a lot of Chen play because we did not see it. We can actually see some of the stats here that Matt compiled from this weekend. We can see that, like you said, Chen. 44.
I didn't do that one.
Oh, you didn't do this. Someone else did this?
No. Yeah, one of the wonderful people at Reddit did the actual like breakdown stats. I did just a Reddit post. Yeah, I just did a flat table. So shout outs to who did that. I don't remember his name. I should know. I think it's
His name was Rockland Derek.
From Reddit.
Okay.
Don't forget it, Matt.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we can see just all these wonderful stats here. I mean, we got a lot of games on Cursed Hollow. Yeah, it definitely seems like we cast a lot of Cursed Hollow.
A lot of Cursed Hollow was picked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of picked Cursed Hollow.
What's the highest pick? Arthas 84, Demon Hunter 84.
Highest pick was highest involvement was Uther and Vala, I believe.
And Arthas. All three are all
and
84%.
Arthas, yeah.
I think that's a pretty cool topic. Let's Dreadnought. When you guys go into these, because the whole map picking thing is very new to the scene. Well, what are you guys thinking about when you choose a map? Because you don't know the comp before you pick the map. You pick the map first.
Yeah.
So it's usually just you play to which maps you want to, or you want to not play a certain team on a map. What are your current thoughts on just the whole map thing right now?
I like it. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything at all. Well, actually, last time I was on here, you guys asked me if the meta would shift a lot because of the maps. And I told you that I didn't think it would shift much. Only a few characters would gain certain advantages on certain maps, but the whole meta would not shift. And I feel like that's what at least has shown so far. I mean, I could be wrong still. But I do like the idea of it. It allows us to pick certain characters that are specifically stronger on certain maps. Like, a simple, light example would be Azmodan's dunk on Cursed Hollow means you've got a delay for a very long period of time if you want to build a strat around that. So, I mean, the fact it's implemented, the more diversity and complexity of the game, the more awesome it gets. So, I mean, I think it's a great thing. But, I don't think you'll see anything, absolutely crazy come out of it.
Oh, hey, the overlay broke.
Yeah, and I can't. XSplit is actually completely locked up, and I can't do anything.
Rip.
So
this is. We still got cameras. It counts.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Oh my gosh! It's one of those days where just everything wants to break. Audio, now video. My computer is just falling apart.
Now we just need Disco. We've got a Justice album.
Heyo.
So apologies for that, but continuing on with the discussion, it's radio only mode, guys. Radio only mode. Close your eyes. All the viewers, just close your eyes. So that's a-newb, and let's move over to Kevin. You don't have to close your eyes. Azmodan. Now, Dread, you said you guys have not lost a single scrim with Azmodan, but you don't know a ton about the character. You don't play him yourself. You don't know how they actually play him. That's kind of something we discussed off air. Zoya, you're level 10, I'm level 9. Why don't you tell me how you build Azmo?
So I build them two different ways. There's the promote cheese way. When I'm playing with Soldier and I do this really cheese strat where he runs Abathur, and so we take the reigning minions heroic, and you can actually just clone Azmodan and then take a keep before anyone can kill you. And then you just run up again as Azmodan, backdoor, and you do it again to the palace or the core, and you can literally if there's you can literally win games just by the two people. So there's that cheese strat, but mainly just battle Azmodan. You take the talents that makes your E cost less mana. You focus on the E a little bit because his push is actually really strong without talents. Just having the global commander is really powerful.
Yeah, the general is so strong.
And then his W is like you don't have to spec into it all because the talents for it aren't really that impactful. Like 5 extra seconds and then a little bit of AOE damage.
Yeah, no.
You don't need them.
AOE's nice, but it's definitely not a necessity.
And without the battle talents, like being able to move while casting the E, without being able to like the extra damage on your Q and the mana reduction on the E, without those, it's much more difficult to team fight. And that you have to you always have to team fight. Like there's never a situation where you can avoid a team fight in a single game. So building him battle is the best.
Yeah, we're not going to do a ton of like a deep dive on him, but which Q damage do you get? You get the one that scales?
The level 1.
The level 1.
The 50% range one.
You get the range. There's 2 of them.
So for that...
Wait. You take... you were talking about level 1 talents on Azmo right now, and you take that over Healing Ward?
Yeah.
Healing Ward all day. Healing Ward all day.
Healing Ward!
You just earned a black mark on Symbio Gaming's...
Healing Ward doesn't stack. Healing Ward doesn't stack.
No, it doesn't matter.
You should already be running 2 Healing Wards. You don't need 3.
Oh yeah, what characters are you gonna get that on the current meta? Is that Tacit or Rhaegar? Which one? Because you aren't getting both. Let me know.
Yeah, Tyrande, bro. She's a sleeper hero. Sleeper hero, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, when Azmo released in this build, I was really shocked because the build that I played at PAX, the 50% extra damage on the Q didn't exist at level 1. It was a level 16 talent. And it was really weird to see that because like when I played at PAX, the level 1 stacking on Q was the only one that was there. And then at level 16, you got the damage dealt is increased by range or whatever. And like that was a really fun build to play. Like I enjoyed stacking up damage and then hitting level 16 and just throwing like these just badass Hail Marys across the map and just nuking people. And then I got in and I was like, oh, I'm going to do it again. And then it doesn't have it. And I was like, I'm not buying this hero. Never mind. And I just walked away. It felt strange. I don't know why they changed that.
The reason I like the 50% extra damage on range is because when you go Blackpool, you can full clear an entire wave from like so far away. So like if it one shots everything in the lane. So you can save a lane from so far away.
That's great. I've been building Azmo actually just pure globe build in my pub games just for fun, because when you get the other level 1 talent that makes so you get 1 more damage every kill you get, and you put Black Hole on that, you can you get the damage over time. You can really start wrecking lanes, and you start hitting like a truck from miles away in longer games. And I only do that on like Garden of Terror and games that I know are going to be a little bit longer, but. It's pretty fun, but it's definitely not the way to build the character. It's just a fun way to pub him.
Yeah, the reason I like I like the dot one as well, but that's the same tier as the mana reduction on E.
Yeah.
And
that's a really good.
He is so mana intensive.
He is.
That's the main problem with him is he drains mana so fast. And E is really important for burning buildings.
In Kings of the Storm 2, we saw Glorious trying to run the Azmo builds. They're the only guys that really tried to play Azmo, and they tried to do that. We're just going to outpush you. But Snowflake responded by saying, hey, we're going to go in the jungle, we're going to grab all the Merc camps, and they really utilized the Plant Terror just defensively to just annihilate the creep waves. Do you think there's a place in the game for split pushing with the changes to the towers? The towers now have nerfed ammo regen, and with the addition of Azmodan, do you think that's kind of a strategy that is viable in the highest competitive scene? Let's start with the Dreadnought.
Yes. Do I think it was done in those games? Definitely not. There was a lot of struggle there, I guess, in a lot of different ways. There is a way to do it. It's not like pure split pushing, though. That is something that I don't think exists. There are too many team objectives and things that can benefit like your team and allow them to push with equal strength. When I have League background, that's where like most of my MOBA experience comes from. Like in League, for instance, when you split push, other than somebody killing you, the other team can get small objectives, but it doesn't really benefit their ability to push. But in this game, it does. So if you push one specific lane and it's a 4v5, not only do they have the ability to grab that objective to push just as fast as you could, but then also they have the ability to dive you because guess what? Turrets don't aggro unless there's no mercs or minions at all. So like, do I think it exists? Yes. Do I think it exists to where it's absolute we must completely split push? No. Applying extreme pressure to one specific part of the map and then using one individual to continually apply it and then withdraw to join a small skirmish, and then using the fact that you push that one lane as a team later on is a really big thing. So I don't know if split pushing is like the way I would like describe it, but that's definitely the closest thing that I think exists at that level in this game right now.
Kev, what are your thoughts on the change to the towers? Do you think it's a drastic change?
Oh, I think it's a massive change, actually. I think it allows for a lot of more aggressive play, especially at the early stages of the game, because now, if you push your lane out, like before, there wasn't ever really a really big draw to pushing your lanes out, right? And if you did, you'd maybe get a couple tower shots out, and you might be able to get like a slight advantage. But for the better part of everything, if you were going against a melee and you were ranged or something like that, it was actually better for your lane to be pushed, because at that point, you could just sit and just harass the enemy hero, keep them out of experience range, and you'd be in a better experience spot. But now it's actually starting to be a little bit of a back and forth of whether or not you want to push your lane so that you can draw out those turrets. And I actually find that's really quite effective, especially when I've been playing a lot of Zagara lately. And you can really just start taking out like turrets and gates really quickly in the early stages of the game, because I mean, at that point, most people are sitting in lanes by themselves. So if they don't immediately have like their group coming down to deal with a Zagara or something like that, it seems to be like a lot more effective. That's in solo queue though, so I don't know competitively where that sits. I think it makes it a little bit stronger for teams to be like, all right, they're doing some minor objective, like 2 people doing knights. Let's just 5-man push this like lane, because you can draw out the turret ammo really quickly and then be able to get that fort a little bit easier. I think it leads to death pushes, like Symbiote's pretty famous for, a lot easier.
Do you guys think we're going to see Demolitionist more frequently now that this is the change? Or less
if this change makes it to where you don't need Demolitionist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like it's the exact opposite effect.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, you could still use Demolitionist. Like, I was playing around with it on Zagara, because she doesn't really have better talents at level 1, I don't think, except for maybe health regen.
She doesn't really.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's probably the best option level 1, but...
Yeah.
What do you think on that, Dread? What do you think about the tower change?
I don't think it influences the game that much. Like, I don't think it was a necessarily bad decision. I understand, like, I feel like it was to try and be like, hey, look, it's split pushing is a thing. Demolitionist isn't a very good talent as a whole. Usually it's better to go something other than that, other than characters like Zagara, kind of, because, it's a bad talent tier when, like, Demolitionist is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, it's, I think it's not a horrible thing, because then it does, like, complement the, like, the characters, the specialists. They have a bad spot in the meta right now, and everybody realizes that, so they're trying to get them in. I don't know if I think it's the answer, but I mean, at least somebody's trying to make it happen.
Blizzard is trying so hard to make split pushing a thing. They're trying so gosh darn hard.
Well, it's fine. They gotta see if they can make it work. I mean, split pushing is fun and all. After playing with the change for a week, I'm okay with it. I mean,
I don't know if they're necessarily trying to influence split pushing, but I think they're trying
Jake,
to...
you need to mute your mic, bro.
Sorry, I'm not used to this. I'm used to my normal headset, which can't hear that.
You're going full Zoya on us, man.
I know. Well, I
don't
wanted... Go ahead, man. Sorry.
I
was going to say that Dreadnought just linked the Soldier's Azmo build, and I would love to pull it up on the screen for you guys, but XSplit is just on full lockdown mode. I can't do a darn thing with it, so I threw it in the chat there, and I will be sure to link that in the YouTube VOD. But it's an interesting battle build that goes with Healing Ward, First Aid. He gets the and then
that's the push build we do when we do the Cheese Abathur strat.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot of sustainability, but it's definitely looks like you're just gonna kind of be using your general to maximum efficiency, staying in the front lines, AAing, not using All Shell Burn, which is his E, too often, because it's gonna destroy your mana. And the only time you're really going to be using it is, you're going to save your mana for team fights as much as you can, looking at this. But really just looks like kind of a lot of sustain and almost like a tank Asmodee, because his health pool is almost as high as Diablo. So you just get in the front, you have First Aid and Healing Ward. It's going to take a long time to kill that Asmodee. So.
The only thing I don't like about this build is the First Aid. I think Master of Destruction's better.
The mana?
He's already so tanky.
First stage just helps if you try to stay up front and you don't have to worry about canceling your beam.
Yeah, but the 16 to 10 set mana cost per second is,
I think
huge.
Can you cast first aid? No,
yeah, you can cast for days without breaking it. Yeah.
I think the theory behind that too is because first aid is a percentile. So the larger the health pool, the better benefit you get from it. So because he has such a colossal health pool, he becomes even more disruptive and annoying because it's like, wow, he just healed that back instantly. This is annoying.
You can throw down a healing ward and just stand on top of it, and because he's so fat, they can't click it, and then you can first aid.
Very true. Very true.
That said, he's still awful in teamfights, so it doesn't really matter because terrible hero.
We've been playing the alpha for what, like 8 months now, and Resurgence hasn't been changed once. Like,
oh my goodness!
I can't believe it's not like 3 or 4 minutes. It really should be longer.
It's one of the bigger.
It's ridiculous.
A lot of the teams have constantly gone to Blizzard and said,
especially on Azmo, because you can just dive the core, take off 30%, and your Resurgence and you're back, and you can do it again. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like,
it's like a better split push Murky.
It's a really strong talent that a lot of people agree is. I mean, I've heard. I'm not gonna say who, but I've heard players say it's ruining the game, and
it definitely has a profound impact on the game.
Yes,
it doesn't.
It's something you take into account when you look at a team. Like, oh, they have 2 Resurgences. Crap. Like,
I mean, I was calling this, and this is my fault, but I was casting a game, and I was like, this is it. This is going to be the end of the game. 3 Resurgences. Oh, just make me eat all my words because they're all right here again. I mean...
Yeah, it's so demoralizing when you commit heavily to a fight. You win, like, maybe with 2... Like, you win, like, an exchange 5 to, like, 5 for 3. You have 2 people left, and then all of a sudden 3 of them are back on Resurgence. It's like... Yeah. What a ridiculous talent.
The annoying thing is that it's mostly on heroes that are really hard to kill again for a second time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
like it's mostly on like warriors and especially like high mobility warriors too. And it's just like, what were you thinking when you gave this to them? Like, Tyrael really? Does Tyrael really need that? Like, come on.
The only characters in the game who have the ability to get Resurgence right now is 1 support and specialists and tanks, and nothing else. There's not a single assassin in the game. There's only.
I thought Illidan does.
Oh gosh, maybe I haven't ever played Illidan, so he might be the only. But I think Lily and Uther are the only 2 supports who have the option to get it, and then for tanks, the tanks are then Tyrael, Azmodan, Stitches, Arthas, Chen. But not Diablo. I think Diablo's one of the people that
because Diablo's own trait.
Let's just literally never die.
What? They just removed the ability to like, so it's not nearly as effective as Resurgence now. So it's like, but and then the specialists are Azmodan. Oh gosh, there's a lot of them actually. The only one worth a dang is Hammer. Is that an option? Like,
Hammer.
Gazlo gets Resurgence as well.
If Witch Doctor got Resurgence, then I would say it might be like a thing that's really cool for Witch Doctor, but.
It doesn't matter. Level 20.
Yeah, you can't give up that Ravenous upgrade.
Oh my god, Ravenous upgrade is ridiculous. Yeah. It's so good.
Oh, Nick leaked all the Resurgences.
Again, I'd show that on stream.
It's leaked.
Oh.
Leaked. Sorry, team.
A-newb, Arthas, Azmodan, Chen, ETC, Gazlo,
A-newb having it is just dumb.
Yeah. Muradin, Hammer, Sonya. Sonya's like, see, I think it makes sense for someone like her. She's really good.
I 100% agree.
Yeah,
so big long list there.
Having it so bad.
But Resurgence, I mean, how does everyone feel about it? I mean, we all seem to kind of
What I find really funny is that Blizzard is like, yeah, we want this game that doesn't last like forever, right? We want it to be like 10 to 15 minutes long. However, by the time it's like 15 minutes long, we're gonna give you this ability that allows you to just die and then come right back up again, which is gonna prolong the game.
It's like you can like basically look at it and it's like depending on the amount of resurgences your opponent has, if it has hit level 20, the game no longer comes to, well, it can almost end now. It extends it like the minimum of 5 minutes because you got to double win a team fight like in order to win the game. So like it is not a good thing at all.
Like Blizzard went back on that though, like a while ago. I think they subtly were just like, you know what? We're not gonna just say that you can end games in 15 minutes. Like Underdog, Resurgence, like there's a lot of things in the game now that are just completely against that theory. So
Think of how much easier it would be to go full SMG though with Resurgence not in the game. Like you could just easily the games would be so much easier to end overall.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they adjust it or
True. That's a good point.
Maybe a longer cooldown on it. I don't know.
I think Resurgence should be a little bit more like GA or Guardian Angel, where you don't start back at the fountain where you're full health and everything. You start at least where you are, or maybe I don't know. They've just put you to a random point on the map. How about that? Just you died and a giant bolt of lightning, like how lightning has always been like the RNG thing for Blizzard. There's just a giant bolt of lightning hits the map randomly somewhere, and you spawn there. And you have, of course, like a 33% chance of being directly at the enemy core, and then I
think the biggest thing against the GA argument is because cores are so squishy, that teams would just stack, run in, suicide core.
Yeah, with Azmo, you could solo the core almost
But don't you see that already?
That's what I do with Azmo.
You see it, but it wouldn't It would just be okay, 1-2. You could do it earlier. Basically, is if you hit 20 before the enemy team, then you can just do it, and then by the time that you come back up, you don't have to worry about them being 20.
Kev, where'd you go?
You're screwing up my overlay even more, Kevin.
Button. Good. You know what? Your overlay is dead. Okay.
It is dead. It makes me so sad.
Rip overlay.
Sorry, I'm trying to hit mute mic so I can cough because I'm dying. Anyway,
the viewers appreciate
let's go on to how about our real
Kubi,
we're still only on our first section, so let's go to our second section. How about that? Let's go to Nova.
Yeah, Nova. Matt, go.
We're talking about Resurgence, and I want to talk about a person who erases people from games right now.
All right, this character was designed for this patch because Resurgence exists. So even if they come back, you just flip it right back, and they're gone again. It's unbelievably fun. I'm just gonna sneak my guide in here, which I have all the talents labeled out and everything in full description. So that's in chat if you want to see it.
Where's the plug when you need it?
Yeah, plug Heroes Fire, because plug is good. Heroes Fire is great. Thank us for the food on this plate. But the way that new Nova works is you can have a talent called Hot Shots, and what that does is it slows your attacks down by 300%, but increases your damage per attack by 330%. So if you're able to get a shot off every single time possible, it's just a flat 30% damage upgrade from your auto attacks.
100's mark.
Pretty awesome. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that way because of the way it feels kind of clunky if you just right-click someone and sit there and wait. But what it does allow is for you to burst the ever-loving crap out of someone. So you can walk in, throw down a pinning shot, auto attack, snipe, rewind, snipe, and that's about a 3k damage burst, especially if you have crippling shot. Or if you are like Arth and are bad and you want to take overdrive, you could do that.
Right.
That's fine. So there's that option. But everything about her, she does more damage now. Her cooldowns are shorter for her snipe, so she actually does stuff in lane. Mm-hmm. There's so many good things about her that I just love.
The cool thing about Nova that I really enjoy about this patch is Nova is a high skill cap hero. She's not easy to play. So she's not ridiculously broken in the lower levels of play. If you're bad with Nova, you're going to get pooped on really hard. It's just, you're going to get caught out of position. And when you're good with Nova, it might be a little too strong right now, but it's to the point where she's playable again. Well, definitely playable, but it's not broken at the lower tiers, which is nice. Because we won't see a huge nerf again.
You know what she reminds me a lot of right now? She reminds me a lot of LeBlanc.
She's
for this previous nerf.
LeBlanc.
Because especially more now with the clones that actually go around and do things and look like they're actually people.
Although that AI is so bad.
Yeah, it is. But she's really if you are able to get your combo down perfectly, you can 100-0 somebody really quickly, and you can kind of start spiraling fights out in your favor just by eliminating somebody immediately. And after that, you might not be so useful after that point. But it's just it's pretty much exactly how LeBlanc plays too. It's just you erase somebody, and then you're kind of have to wait for your cooldowns to come back up again, and you can erase somebody again. But it's whether or not your team can make something happen out of that 5v4.
Yeah, she really feels like an actual caster now. Before she kind of towed the line, and now she's pretty much full caster. Yes, you can harass every 3 seconds with an auto attack, but that's kind of just harassing with a Q anyways. So I don't know. I like the way that she plays now. She's way more fun to me, and I've been playing Nova since day one. She's pretty much been one of my mains. I want to say I was one of the few people that actually ran her when we played scrims, and I don't really know of anyone else that plays her. I don't know. Maybe Jed can comment on that.
I don't think we saw
No,
Noble once start all of ECS.
No, he's talking back when 2-Arc was a thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
but
that-
even from
it
2 to
was-
now, I don't even know of like any Nova players
Arth
that
picked
played.
it up.
Yeah, Arth
once
does.
once you started being with us with it when we first formed as a team, then we started running Nova, and then we dropped it post the nerf.
Yeah, the most recent patch between this one and the one then made Nova just like she wasn't awful, but everybody else did everything better. She was kind of like the Lily of assassins. So
No escapes, but now it's like she still doesn't have an escape, but at least now
Right.
she's at least doing
Oh.
something with the fact of high risk, high reward.
she has a pseudo escape now because her hollow clone will actually body block.
Yeah, which
So
is
that's
great.
really, really cool.
That's
And
huge.
it sets
so
up
big.
so many cool things because
so
it's
big.
not even like a normal body block either. It's like a really fat clone. Like it blocks a very large area that you wouldn't expect. Like, you can throw it down on the gap in Dragonshire, going down to Giants behind. Like if you're on your side of the fort, if you would just walk from your mid fort down to Giants, if you throw a clone there, it'll just stop everything. Like people just can't get through it. And it's like what? Like,
Faye
that's-
was playing with triple
Nova's
clone
not that
last
big.
night, and that was fun to watch.
Yeah,
It is
it's
interesting.
funny to see. It doesn't do as much burst, but it's really funny to see. It's just like the nice thing about it is you're usually really protected when you do it because if you drop all the clones, if you take all the clone talents, you drop the clones and then you snipe and you move immediately, all the clones just disperse.
Yeah.
So like they have to pick one of 3 and hope that they hit the right one or have like a I don't know. That's pretty much all they can do actually. I don't even know if there is really like a counterplay to that if you do it right. But it doesn't do as much burst, but it trades that for obvious survivability, so it's really cool. I like it.
Have you played with the new Nova at all, Dread?
Yeah, I have. She was one of the first I tested, like since everybody was playing her, and
Yeah, I mean in scrims.
yeah, we've run her. Last night we ran her in I think 5 games.
How'd it
Yeah,
go?
Kings too.
She's really
So-
good.
So Dreadnought, I have a
Yeah.
question. What do you
Yeah.
think's better at level 1? Do you think
Oh my
it's
goodness, I knew it was coming. Okay, so SMG got in a minor dispute yesterday over what is the best level 1 talent on
Minor
Nova.
dispute.
Okay, so it's all on whether or not the increased duration on her W or whether or not 20% from stealth. And I have come to the conclusion that both are very good and both are very situational, depending on the composition you're playing against. If they are squishier, then probably Q. If they're tankier, then getting the extended W is more beneficial.
Boom.
But didn't you run some numbers and like
I did run
if
some
you get
numbers.
if you get the extra 1.75 seconds on the slow,
And then
it
you get
seems
one
like
auto attack.
you get
from a
one
decent
auto
weapon
attack that
from
that
each-
completely diminishes the
Okay,
bonus
so-
you get from
Oh
sniping
my
from Q.
goodness. Yeah, it's pretty much works out that way, yeah. If you hit one decent spell with the crippling shot onto them, it does compensate. But I would argue that the 20% damage benefits you so much early game if the composition is squishy that it is worth sacrificing.
Yeah, ganking with ambush snipe is really good early game because they up
Yes.
the early game damage with it. If the snipe's damage was the same as it was before, instead of being a little bit more towards the early game damage, I would agree that taser round is almost always better. But now that her snipe has gotten a buff in the early game, and it doesn't necessarily fall
See,
off in late
That's
game.
weird, Steve. That's really weird because like if you look at her auto attack damage, it's like 39.
Yeah.
However, if you
So-
get the extended damage after a snipe cloak, it's only like 30 some damage. So you actually get 9 more damage from that auto attack. And later on in the game, when you
Wait,
get
what?
that hot shots,
talking
yeah.
about?
You get actually like 3 like you get way more damage.
Ambush snipe
from the
doesn't affect
actual
auto attack.
I'm getting trolled so hard right now.
Oh my god.
Okay. I see.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually true. No, like the auto attack is more damage than the bonus from the 20%, even at early game, and it actually gets even better and better as the game
Talking
goes
about
on.
with hot shots or without hot shots?
Without hot shots in the beginning, and then with hot shots later on, the auto attack becomes stronger and stronger.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how
Which
the game
me-
works.
he's
I don't
already-
understand what you're trying to say.
Wait, that getting that
so-
extra 1.75 seconds to get
Seconds
that
is
extra
worth
auto
it.
attack is better than
So
the 20%.
with taser round, it's better. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you
Taser
get
round's always
taser
better.
round and crippling shot, and you get hot shots, and you can get 2 auto attacks in on a crippled target, which will do about 1,600 damage.
And also it gives it like a 1.75 extra debuff of 30% move speed so the rest of your team can hit them too. What?
And the damage source isn't just from you alone. Like that's
Yeah, it's
like
from-
why we got in the argument
100
is how So like the mark that is applied post 16 isn't just your damage source, which technically does more damage than the bonus you get from the ambush snipe. It's also from every other target possibly hitting that like person, plus applying utility with the slow. So now it becomes very situational. Like, do you get the benefit early game enough from ambush snipe, which is what we got into dispute about.
I think.
But
I think
I'd like to bring it up
also-
because I think it's actually a really good discussion.
No, it is a good discussion, and I think it trails into how your Nova is going to be playing the game. So like, there's certain builds where Nova's like, if you have enough front end burst to take down a tank even to half health now, Nova can actually take them out. Like, if a Stitches oversteps, actually we'll use Arthas. If Arthas oversteps his bounds and somebody gets a stun on him, like an Uther gets a stun on him, and you're able to throw down a couple of skill shots into him and even drop him down to like 70% health, Nova could just walk up and obliterate him before he can get Army to Dead off, before he can do anything. And taking out an Arthas at the beginning of a fight is huge.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that, and ambush snipe certainly helps in that regard, just because you have to have that front-loaded burst. And then the other way is that you could argue crippling shot taser around there as well, but chances are if you're trying to burst, the extra
It's unrealistic.
I
get
the extra whatever second doesn't matter. The other way is that if you're playing anti-carry Nova, where you try to get angles and flanks, and you try to get behind, like say you're playing Tychus is probably one of my favorite, because you can actually burst him down. Tychus and Raynor, you can burst them down before they can either get an Odin off or Raynor's passive can proc. And if you can get into that angle and you can do that, then the ambush snipe helps there a lot, because you have that extra like 400 damage, 300 damage, and this is at level 16. And you just kind of bulldoze through them and they don't have a chance to come back. So that's nice, but if you are playing like a team heavy comp, then the taser round plus is real good. Then you rewind and you have 8 seconds of 25% extra damage on targets, so it's really nice.
I think it comes down to how many tanks they have. Is really what I would decide on.
Well, nobody plays Sergeant Hammer, so everybody's got 0 tanks.
Stop.
Just Jared's been quiet all the time. Stop.
Well,
But either way, both
I
are
don't play
viable
Assassin,
builds.
so this
Yeah.
is
They're
normal
both
conversation.
really good. I think you can make it.
I think it's an interesting discussion of whether or not of how that all works out. But fine, I guess if you guys don't want to talk about it anymore. So Nova's pretty good. We've been
Yeah,
seeing
you're really
her
quiet.
pop up a whole bunch in Kings of the Storm. It was great. It's good to see that like such a hero that's high risk, high reward is actually being played.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what
But she's scary. A lot of teams are scared of her right now.
She
like
went
they
from-
see that
The new
snipe.
Stitches.
She's
Dun,
a little
dun.
overtuned, I think. Just like
Yeah,
the
she's
tiniest
gotta be
bit.
toned
She
back
probably
just a little bit.
they should probably have not made hot shots be 330%. That's a little excessive. Maybe like 315, maybe 310 would have been more on like in line with what they're doing, but whatever. I'm not gonna complain. That's fun for me. So.
Yeah, well, like you said, we did start seeing her finally competitive play. She had 28% pick rate, which is a huge step
Bigger
up.
than
I mean,
zero,
being
which it
picked,
was.
picked over a quarter of the time, and you compare her to, granted, Vala 84% pick rate, not
Right.
really on scale with that, but she was picked more often than Sonya, and that's one thing to note.
She got
for
picked
sure.
more that event than over the last entire 4 months. So.
Yeah, for sure. Picked more often than Raynor. Yeah,
I think the
mean,
coolest thing for me is that even in the event, I don't think I ever saw the same build twice.
as Nova.
From the games that we were casting, rather. I don't think I ever saw the exact same build get used more than once. And that was really neat. There was a couple of them that are obviously similar. The majority of the time they had hot shots. But like some of them used the clone talents. And it was neat to see it, because I wasn't expecting it at all. I was like, oh, hey, that's a thing now, I guess. And it was awesome. I like seeing diversity in custom games and in tournaments. So it's really cool.
Oh God, you said Frozen, and now Kevin's in the chat getting all excited.
You said Frozen.
I said Frozen.
Said Frozen. I didn't say that.
I said Frozen.
Um,
Well, I mean, I think that pretty much covers Nova. I mean, we could do a full deep dive on her for sure, but we're not going to do that today. I think
we should talk about
we should talk about Blizzcon.
No, some gold.
Okay, all right, gold.
Sweet precious gold.
So there's been
Yeah,
a
we're
lot of
saving the
Reddit.
Blizzcon drama for the end, guys. You have to
Okay.
wait.
Yeah, man.
I didn't say
Jeez.
drama. I just said Blizzcon.
No, it's
Drama.
drama. It's drama.
Okay,
Bro,
Sham 2
It's
drawing out
so
some guns.
drama up in here.
Nice.
It's great because I
Nice
got
try.
like 2 people who are like salty about it, and I'm gonna whatever the opposite of salt is. I'm gonna sugar all up in here.
There's a lot more than 2 people salty about it.
Okay.
There's 2 people that are really salty.
I mean, 2 people in this podcast that are salty about it. But anyway, let's talk about Gold Game before we get there.
Yeah.
Jared.
So Gold Game.
Someone's about to get banned for saying Frozen sucks.
Let me just call Jared out real quick, because I linked Jared some Blizzard All-Stars videos today, and he's like, oh, I should put this on Reddit. Throwback Tuesday.
They just did it.
It's just like,
I saw that, I was like, Jared. Oh, wow.
All right, Jared. I see you.
I see karma, man.
I see you. Anyways,
banned from Reddit.
A lot of threads up on Reddit and the Blizzard forums and everywhere saying gold gains feel very slow to grindy. Past level 15 on your account, there is absolutely nothing to work towards. Level 15 is the last time you get a reward, and it goes all the way up to level 40. Discuss.
I'll start. Dibs. just to put this out there. In the previous build, when we were all leveling up, and I'm sure everybody forgot this, as we were leveling up, certain levels unlock certain things that we could do to play in the game. And so, like, you have ranked mode, you have whatever. So I'm guessing that the plan going forward is that, like, level 25, you unlock, like, draft. Level 30, you unlock, like, ranked draft or something like that. But that is also not an excuse for how bad the gold gain is right now. So, all right, I'll open the floor again.
Well, I mean, just to expand on that, what you're basically saying is, because I think you said it in a really weird way, is that the level achievements for past 15 are going to be determined once, like, ranked play and all that stuff comes in. However, gold gain, still garbage. Garbage tier.
Still booty.
You're going to get stuff, you're just not going to get gold.
So to put it in perspective, I have 160 games played with over a 60% win rate. When you win, you get 30 gold. Lose, you get 20 gold.
Humble brag.
Well, 60% is not that good.
But
go ahead.
I still don't have 20k gold. As soon as I get level 5 for the heroes we got today, I'll have over 20k gold for the money pig. But that is a lot of games. That includes account leveling. That includes getting heroes level 5, and that's only 20k gold. If you don't buy the money pig now, guys, you're never gonna get it. Unless they change the system a lot, because there's no situation where you're going to have 20k gold, because you get so much from leveling. How much gold do you actually get from leveling to 15?
Well, wait, hold on. Let's put in a couple of things into perspective real quick, because you're also playing during double experience week. So this has only been the past.
No, I didn't talk about my level. I said 160 games.
No, game is just pure games. It doesn't matter because after
but I'm saying levels as well, because you also get the gain from level 5s on heroes, as well as you also get it from up to level 15. That's what I'm saying is, in the past week, you've gained almost 20,000 gold, which is actually a lot of gold. That's buying 2 heroes in a week.
But he's
compared to League of Legends. Compared to League of Legends, where it would take you like a month to save up for like a brand new hero that came out in IP alone. It's like 6,300 IP.
I don't know.
A couple of weeks to save up.
The math on Reddit, and League is like much easier to get IP on because you get the win of the day bonus compared to here. Yeah. Once you've gotten heroes level 5, and once you've gotten your account to 15, you don't get bonus gold gain except from dailies. That's it.
Yeah. I think, and especially when you're saying about the double experience thing, like, if anything, that would serve to actually slow down.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that even with double experience gain, you got that little gold.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I thought you were saying the opposite. Sorry.
Granted, it was only a week.
Technically, if you looked at it, I think it would actually, in the long run, make it feel like you get more gold because you'd have to grind more games to get that level 5. But either way, like, still 160 games for only 20k gold is just. It feels off just because of how many heroes we already have and how just little we get for it. But before we go on, I want to bring something back up that I touched extremely briefly on this when I talked to Dustin Browder at PAX when I did my interview thing, and pretty much everybody glazed over it, and I guess it didn't like register in their mind that it was kind of a bad thing. So when I talked to him about Gold Game the first time, when we had the 40-10 system, and he was like, okay, yeah, well, we're going to address that soon. We're going to change it to 30-20. And the way that we like to think about it is that whenever someone logs in, we want them to feel like they're going to get a hero in X amount of days instead of X amount of games. And I was like, okay, but that's not really how the MOBA community works. Like, a lot of people really like to just sit down, grind games, and get rewarded for it. It's like, yeah, but that's the point of our daily system. Like, maybe we will increase the gold reward for dailies, and that will kind of offset that a little bit. I was like, all right, that kind of makes sense. And they did, but the way that they did it is really clunky, in my opinion. Like, we have the 800 gold dailies, right? But you don't see those often. You'll see
I got one.
Yeah, the first time they sent it, I got 3, but I haven't seen another one since. So it's like the theory is there, but the implementation is off. And it feels like, to me, you should be able to almost just sign up for like a higher level of dailies if you want. Like, if you know that you're going to be committing to the game, you should be able to say, like, okay, I'm going to be grinding like 10 games a day. Why can't I say that I want to do dailies that are worth 800 gold instead of just randoming into one that's like, I'm going to finish in an hour when I'm going to be playing for like 7? Like, it feels like they're restricting the community for no reason. Like, people are playing, but they're not really getting anything out of it.
Dread, do you have any opinions on this?
Yeah, I think it is too low. And like we talked about this before the broadcast too, which slightly plays into it as well. Is not only is it too low, but then the lack of benefits from custom games for which also hinders my ability to get gold because I can't level anything up, is also a pain. Because, like, for instance, I didn't get to play the first 2 days of the patch release because it was midterms week. Then I got on, and it was 1 day before King of the Nexus. I untalented every possible tank that existed and bought them with real money because I didn't have the gold to afford any of them. And then after untalenting every one of them, I played, like, all I've done since then is like practice. So if you look at my account right now, I have every tank in the game all sitting at level 4, and then a noob, I think I got to level 5. And it's like I've earned a total, since I've been playing, I've earned a total of, I think it's 14,000 gold, which that's through the level up bonuses and everything else. And it's just like, the fact that I can't get benefits for playing customs is really a big pain. But then also that the gold grind, even if I wasn't playing customs, I agree, is still too low.
You understand the logic behind preventing custom gold, though, right?
I get it, but it's just, I don't know. It's still such a pain. Like, it's going to be forever.
We're never, ever going to see gold in customs. Ever.
Yeah.
All I got to say is, when you find a master skin inside of a competitive game, you know that dude has been grinding. Yeah. Because not only has he been... Like, he hasn't just been playing, like, scrims in practice. He has been playing solo queue just as much with that character. Dude, because that's the only way he's leveling up.
Every time the money pig was on my screen, I just lost focus and followed it. Like, that was the production vibe. I was just like, must watch the money pig.
The best intro to a game is when Arth has the money pig and Soldier has the money pig, and then they run around in a little circle picking up each other's coins. It's way too fun.
I almost got mine. So close. Like, just to put it in perspective, like, if you just take... How many heroes in game? 31?
I don't know. It's
32?
close.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
just say, like, if you just want to get all of the master skins, that's 300,000 gold. That is such an absurd number if you don't take into account buying the money pig, which is 20k gold, and then buying all the heroes. With the current gold game, like, you'd be playing for years before you get any. Like, obviously, you don't want to unlock everything.
I don't think that's a good argument, though, because if you look at it, like, master skins are supposed to be like, you're the master of that character. Are you going to be a master of every single of the 31 characters?
Yes,
do you know me? Of course.
Really looking at my League of Legends career, I mean, like, I played... Well, yeah, when I played... Yeah, I don't know why I said career. When I played League of Legends a lot, I have maybe 20 champions unlocked with just IP alone. I never bought a single champion except for Lulu, because Lulu's magical. When she was first released, at least. It's really kind of frustrating, and I'm thinking about how I look at Heroes of the Storm right now, is that it's like, at least over the past week, the only reason I'm not killing myself because I only had, like, free week heroes was because I had the $100 that I spent from the previous, and I bought like 3 packs.
I wasted my money on packs.
I would have just probably walked away.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, we were spoiled the first time through, so like
we got that.
I would have come back, but like it would have just been like, oh my god, I have to just do this. Like, this is bad.
A free week, you have to level a new hero before you can actually get to like 2 to. I mean, I think you can get 2k gold, but like I just barely broke 10k gold, and I have like I think
not even that 10K
some
yet.
Games, and I'm like I have almost a level 9.5 Diablo right now. I've like 4. Yeah, I've like 4 level 5s, and I just barely broke 10k. So I just barely be able to afford like Witch Doctor.
And think of when they add new heroes. When they released Chen, he was 15k gold.
Yeah.
Every hero is going to be that way.
Yeah.
They've already announced it. Every hero from now on starts at 15.
Can you imagine
goes
spending
down to 10.
15k gold for Jaina if she released today? Like, no one's got that gold except for me right now.
I do.
Like,
I wouldn't do that. Like, there's never going to be a time where I'm like, I have to have this character so badly that I will pay an extra 50%.
Unless you have like
for the hero.
15k
like,
gold is like
insanity.
3 to 5 other heroes.
So all they're
depending on which
doing,
ones you buy.
it's going to be 15k for 2 weeks. They're saying if you want it now,
2 weeks.
drop the real money. If you don't want it, it'll go down 5 gold in 2 weeks.
So then, tell
5
me,
single gold.
as a competitive
5,000.
player, with not only being hindered by mainly going through custom games and not even be able to get the level up gold, but then also the leveling gold system is already slow, that I am supposed to be able to know and play at the top level a character that is just released within a 1 to 2 day period. Like every character, I should be able to know exactly what they can do and everything else. Like, how am I supposed to do that with a 15k
Dreadnought,
cap on that?
are you forgetting the fact that they have a try hero button?
Oh yeah,
under the
because I can
shop?
totally master the circumstances against an Arthas bot who sits there, walks a Z,
Dreadnought?
and uses a pass on me like twice.
Esports
Dreadnought,
money.
shouldn't your team be buying all of your guys' heroes? Where's that SMG money bank?
Oh yeah, you mean the ones that we got from ECS, MYI, King of the Nexus, and King of the Storm? We're rolling in
Hey,
right now.
Do not call us out.
Esports dollars, all right. Esports
Dreadnought.
Shout out to
dollars.
all the tournaments. Give it
Look
a
at all the
hurry out.
esports dollars I have.
There was,
Yeah, do you see all my pride dollars that I've earned from those first places? Because there is 0 cash.
there's
Alright,
a
you
secret
guys are going to
prize.
BlizzCon. Oh, right.
There's a secret prize at Kings of the Storm 2 where I'm buying symbiote beers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How's that?
I can handle that.
So,
Yeah,
idea,
King of the
Theorycraft.
Nexus also buy Dreadnought beers, Kevin. Thank you for doing that.
Sick life.
All right, Theorycraft. So we currently have like bonus XP on weekends, and we have experience holidays. They've made holidays a thing on StarCraft, and they've made it a thing on Diablo, where you get bonus gold or whatever. You know, they what if that's a thing? What if there's a
has
weekend
to be a
where you get double gold for each game you play? I mean that no.
Oh, 40 gold or 60
Yeah.
gold.
Like,
40 gold
that's
if I'm playing with
sick
Zoya,
life, like-
60 if I'm playing with anybody else.
Like, just upgrade the goddamn gold gain. Like, people aren't going to be able to.
Or reduce
Like,
the cost.
not
of
everybody's going to be
things.
able to play on that weekend. Like, some people are going to have a tournament that they have to play in where they can't play on the weekend. Like,
Stop being good at the game.
it's not a feasible thing, and the gold generation is just ass. Like,
The
it's
gold
so
gain
bad.
can be fine. It's just there's so many things that cost gold, and there's so many things that cost a ridiculous amount of gold. With the money pig 20k and Master Skins 10k, and then a lot of the fun heroes are 10k.
Yeah. I'm not even
reduce
considering
prices.
So
not even considering the extra cosmetics like
here's-
money pick and
here's-
everything. Like,
yeah,
even
money
if you
pigs-
were able to get like 20k, like that's 2 high-end heroes. Great. Like,
Well, so, I mean, the
congratulations,
money
you
pig
bought not even a tenth of the.
Is supposed to be
population.
that though. I mean, that's what the money pig is supposed to be. Be like,
gold
yo,
pig.
I'm a rich 1%.
yeah,
you
that's
know?
what it's for. It's
But-
If
for
you don't get the money pig now, you're not never getting it. Like, you're not going to get it ever. Because you can't buy with money. Like,
Here's the thing though. Like, I understand what they're doing is they're trying to drive like maybe more people will buy heroes with money, but like I think it's just when we were before wipe, like look at how many skins you saw people running around with. I think they're so scared that their skins aren't gonna sell. But Blizzard skins are so amazing that people are buying them anyway, and they're
Yeah.
buying a ton of them.
Yeah.
Like I had $90 worth of skins and mounts before the alpha.
They're
even
super
wiped.
good. Like, they're
Like
amazing.
so
everybody
good.
spends so much money.
It's,
So much
and it's
money.
not even like
Like
it's
three
not even a
different
new thing.
versions.
Like, it's not a good thing
So much-
from like it's not a new thing from Blizzard. Like, they sell a crown in WoW that's just transmog. It's $20, and that thing just flew off the shelves.
yeah.
It's like, oh my god, are you serious? Like, you gotta be kidding me here.
Alter
and, like,
brew
they-
pop. It's
they
a
could
little like puppy that has unlimited beer he brews out
Dude,
of
that pup's awesome.
I bought him.
Yeah.
I had it. How could I not buy that? Like, it's a dog with beer.
Now I should hit myself in the face though, because right now I'm an engineer
Do it.
judging how business should actually work, and I don't know business that well. I will admit
I
there.
think
It's just.
But I
Soldier
think-
brings up the best
think-
point.
I think in a way it's like it feels like I want to buy heroes, and if I buy more heroes with gold, if I'm able to have more heroes then I'll buy more skins.
Yeah.
But like right now, like if with the limited amount of heroes that I have, I can only buy a limited amount of skins. Blizzard, I'm trying to give you my money.
And at the same time, if I'm a player that doesn't have a lot of time to invest in the game, and I have a lot of friends that just refuse to spend money, and like one of my close friends, he will not spend $1 on Hearthstone, but he plays it every day as much as he can, and he knows that he can grind a decent amount and still feel like he's rewarded. He can still get 100 gold from games, and he has something like Arenas. Arenas is a different option, which gives you the option of using your skill to earn more money and earn more like progress. That's the one thing Heroes doesn't lack. The progression is pretty low in Hearthstone, but if you can go in and you can gamble, you can pay a little bit extra. So if maybe they have draft mode or some kind of draft where you spend gold to get in, and then there's some kind of big reward, like you get out and you get to pick any skin you want or something like that. You get some kind of thing completely unlocked in your account as a result. Maybe they put something in there like that, but it needs something. It needs something to give those players that want to grind an option. Because, like we said over and over again in this discussion, this is great if you're just going to play 2 games a day and complete your daily quest and log off. It's fine for those kind of people because they're going to get there after so many days. But presently, it's abysmal for anybody that wants to grind. It really is. All the perspectives we're coming from a perspective where we're each playing.
We're tryhards, man.
10, 12 hours a day. I mean, I did multiple 15-hour streams last week. Like, I did 3 of them. And, yeah, I mean, it's, I still don't have Money Pig. What? Like, that's 45 hours plus at least. But I think we've beat this over the head, kind of.
Well, Smite does a cool thing with their system where you can rent a hero, where you spend a little bit more than the average gold gain, and you get to play a hero for a game. You don't own it; you play it for that game. And I think
they get to rent a talent-gated hero.
They get to
awesome.
Imagine what Dreadnought was saying earlier is that the try me mode is just trash. You don't want to invest 10K on Murky without playing him first. Like, imagine how you would feel if you bought Murky, because like Murky's an iconic Blizzard hero. Like, and he just when you're like thinking Murky, like, oh, I want to play him. Yeah,
iconic.
Yeah, Murky is
Warlocks are
Murky's iconic,
pretty iconic for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and so imagine your first time playing the game, you haven't seen Murky at all, and you spend 10K on Murky and realize he's just crap. Like, that's the worst.
Jared just said Murky's crap.
Yeah, he's the funnest hero in the game, man. But he is
funnest.
He is the funnest. I'm not going to correct myself.
NA.
I am not going to correct myself.
Well, I think it's time to move on to our next discussion, which is in fact, Jared, you can give me the second word here, BlizzCon
Drama.
Oh man.
Drama.
Oh, man.
So
let's go.
All right. So to preface for anyone that has not heard the news, BlizzCon has announced 4 teams will receive invites to compete at BlizzCon 2014 in an exhibition tournament. There will also be a YouTube celebrity show match, but we know nothing on that at this point in time. So we're going to talk about the exhibition match. Instead of inviting players or inviting squads that already exist, they went to 4 organizations: Cloud9, Team Liquid, Evil Geniuses, and Fnatic, and said, hey, look, we're going to give you guys an invite. You have full control over who your squad is. Not a single one of these teams had an established squad at this point in time.
Stop hitting your desk because it actually hits the mic too.
I'm not used to this mic. I'm not used to using this mic.
Stop being bad.
Gosh, sorry. So, on that note, we've seen that Team Liquid announced their squad, and it involves Chef, Dunk, Caffeine, Biceps, OxyGG is their coach, and I'm missing someone. I feel terrible. Piffix, yes, because it's a weird name. It's not like a body part or a drink. And then Cloud9 released their team, and nobody's. Like, I don't know.
Well, they're not nobodies. They're definitely not nobodies.
Okay.
But
so in my
Nobody's
world, as someone who doesn't follow League or Dota, I have no idea who these guys are. No, I've never.
You know Bishu? He played StarCraft.
Okay, Bishu. Yes, I do know Bishu. But comparatively, we have at least Chef and Dunk on Liquid. You know, we know them, and we saw them play this weekend as GGBB, and they played very well.
Caffeine as well. Caffeine was there. He's on the team.
I didn't say that he wasn't. I just said I'm not trying to discredit anyone. But yes, we saw them playing, and they played very well. So now we know Liquid Squad. We know that squad. We have no idea who is going to be playing for EG, but Fnatic is Naniwa, Sase, and then I believe
a few League of Legends dudes, and then Ace of Spades.
And then Ace. And Ace is the one Heroes guy. Now, granted, all these guys are very talented. Naniwa, very BM, but very talented player.
Arguably one of the best foreigners of all time.
Yeah,
he's going to get up at BlizzCon. Joke tournament.
Honestly, one of probably the best foreigners that's ever existed for StarCraft.
Yeah, for any PC esport to ever be played. Very, very talented gamer. Formerly Warcraft guy. Same thing with Sase, formerly Warcraft 3, and then StarCraft 2. And maybe these guys want to take the game super seriously. But it's kind of
Hold up. For Fnatic? Are you talking about exclusively for Fnatic? Because Fnatic has already said that they're dropping the team after BlizzCon.
Now, Fnatic said that, but it doesn't mean the players aren't going to continue playing. Maybe these players are really into the game. Maybe they do want to play a lot. We can't say they're not, because we don't know. I'm not playing on EU. They're an EU team. I have no idea how often they're on ladder, but really, it's a controversial discussion, because a lot of guys, much like Symbiote, Dreadnought here, I mean, you guys are easily the most dominant team in the entire competitive community, and you guys will be at BlizzCon, but you will not be playing. So, Dread, let's have a moment of silence.
Just a handicap.
A moment of silence, indeed. Gosh, it's annoying, especially probably like from an SMG perspective. The reason why it is so annoying is because 3 out of the 4 of those companies approached us at some point in time, and not a single one went with us. And that was probably the main reason it was so annoying. If it just suddenly hit us, where it was like, oh, like these guys are picking up teams, and they just didn't want us. That's fine. And it seems like a lot of them, only one took severe interest in us, and it seems like that was largely because a lot of people, the scene wasn't big enough, and they didn't do very much research, like at all. And only one realized like the dominance of our gameplay actually in the scene, and that's why they wanted us over the competitors. And then they still ended up not going with us, which is awesome. So, yeah, we aren't competing. We will be there. But, I don't know. The whole thing is, I understand some of the decisions, but at the same time, I think they are a little messed up. But I'm also, like, that's because I would be competing, I guess. Like, I probably would be a little more accepting of it if I wasn't. But at the same time, I don't know. It seems like the community at certain points is definitely lashing out, like, especially with, the announcement of the C9. They're like, wow, I'm so glad these guys have dominated the scene for so long. And now they're getting paid off to like do it.
Yeah.
Now, paid off. They're getting an invite to be on stage. I seriously doubt they're getting much more than a trip. But that's
you get a trophy. That's a lot. It's a BlizzCon trophy. Right. That is like a career highlight.
But it's a BlizzCon. It's okay. First off, so for these guys, for most of them, it's not going to be that much of a highlight for the trophy.
It's a free ride. It's a free ride.
Secondly, okay, yeah, it's a free ride to BlizzCon, and I admit that's actually pretty cool and whatnot. But I mean, to me, it just seems like we knew that we were being misfits when we started this competitive scene.
Yep.
Right. Like everybody acknowledged that Blizzard is not acknowledging the competitive scene. They're not retweeting anything. They're not doing anything at all in terms of competitive scene. They really weren't.
Hey, we had CMs in the ECS chats all the time.
But the CMs are people. Their CMs are people that like are literally just looking at something that they do every day. It's not Blizzard organization coming out and saying we endorse this. The Blizz Heroes thing has never retweeted a single competitive thing. We knew this. We knew this going in, that they do not acknowledge the competitive scene in any formal fashion.
Not yet.
And the fact that everybody's being like, wow, why are they not acknowledging the competitive scene? It's like, guys, they haven't been acknowledging the competitive scene. They still are not acknowledging the competitive scene. It's fine. I get it. You guys are pissed. I'm pissed. I'm not casting. I casted. I did a whole bunch of stuff too. You know?
But, we've been grinding here in Town Hall for 35 weeks. But Blizzard's being very close.
Yeah, Blizzard's been super nice.
The fact that they allowed us to get into the alpha and do all this stuff, we're just testers. We're not a scene. We have a community that's in that. But, this has never really been done before. And I understand that a lot of people are upset. They think that they could put on much better games. But that's not what this is. It's exhibition. It's showing off
what has never been done
this
before.
is.
So
what is
Check
alpha to like the open public?
Right. I mean
betas.
For all its intents and purposes, this is as close to a beta as you're going to get.
It will be
I don't
open
think so.
beta eventually.
I'm sorry. Let me address that. 30,000 people, maybe 2,000 people involved in the competitive scene at all. Anybody who's got a Twitter following already has a Twitter following only because of their previous careers.
Right.
StarCraft, World of Warcraft,
Wow.
whatever. Wow. I am just getting revved up. That's all. That's all that's happening right now.
Sorry.
So if we had to look at something that, like, what they're trying to do, they're trying to draw more people to come and be interested in this game. Can you really fault them for bringing in a whole bunch of personalities from other games to come and test it out?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are saying about it is that Blizzard's marketing this as, while it is a exhibition tournament, it's also BlizzCon. And for BlizzCon, a lot of people that they're trying to pull in, like they're pulling StarCraft people, right? Like they're putting StarCraft people on teams. And StarCraft is known for hosting actual events at BlizzCon. So there's a certain disconnect at some point where people that are coming in are expecting to see actual games that aren't just bad.
The big
Well, how do you?
Like,
Wait. Hold on. There's 30,000 people who've been able. We estimate there's been 30,000 people. There's 2,000 people who maybe have watched a competitive match of Heroes. So if there's 100,000 people watching a Twitch stream of Blizzard Heroes, how many of them do you really think know what a good game of Blizz Heroes is?
it's pretty easy to see the difference between a good game and a bad game.
Oh,
especially when we already know one of the teams that got invited actually has grinded through this game.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Going and they're gonna do some serious work once they get there.
Yeah.
I mean, we can again. Hearthstone, very very similar situation last year. They invited people that were well known. Day 9, Husky. We had Artosis there. Artosis happens to be very good at the game, but he's also a big personality. Hafu, she plays a ton of the game, again, but she's a big personality. Former world champion for World of Warcraft 3v3 Arena. They invited a lot of big name personalities, and the entire thing is marketing. Like Kev was really trying to get along there. What they need to do is the game is so limited as to who it has access to. Is it even fair to invite these pro teams that have had the capability to be pros when there's so many people that are anxious to want to play the game competitively and just don't have the ability to even do that?
You're starting to sound like Reddit, Jake. Is it fair?
I'm saying like you have to look at it from all angles. Is that fair? You know, a lot of people have done the grind. That we have, and we will be rewarded eventually. Symbiote will be winning tons of tournaments in the future. It's gonna happen. But the way it is they need to get the word out of their game. They need to get people involved in watching their game. Eyes on. That's what they want, and that's what this event's going to do. I mean, as much as BlizzCon, it has a tournament for StarCraft, and it has had that for the last several years, it's also their biggest weekend for marketing. They make all their announcements there. This is their marketing weekend. I mean,
it's literally a giant advertisement for Blizz.
It's a giant advertisement. I mean, if they want to release, I'm calling it right now. I'm going to say it right here. If you look at that floor plan, there's a big open area the size of the Heroes of the Storm playable area. If that's not Titan, that's Warcraft 4 or something. But it's a marketing thing, man. Like it stinks.
Yeah, nobody's downplaying that. I don't think a single person is downplaying that. The counter argument that a lot of people are putting up for that is that while it is a marketing thing, why would you want to market something that's subpar?
Yeah.
Why would you want to show bad games?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be able to tell when one
guys have been in
Fnatic. When some
guys have been in the scene,
and SMG would have stomped everybody else. It would have been the
Weekend Pro. I'm willing to do this for my own benefit.
Yeah.
Record that.
Quote it. Line it up. But like we've seen games. All of us have been here from the beginning. We've all seen games where, you know what? Here, we'll put it out there. SMG versus Vex. The first time that happened, that was an absolute crushing game. Nobody even wanted to see, they were just like, oh, the game's over? Heroes is dumb? If you were to watch that game, if you would have watched that game at BlizzCon, would you be interested in playing the game? You'd just be like, oh, this game's massively not balanced. What's the point of playing this?
SMG would have done the same thing to all these other teams.
That's why we're saying that they should have invited 4 teams that aren't trash.
It doesn't. You don't have.
If you invite SMG, they're gonna stomp all over all those nerds.
Listen,
you're telling me that if we took Kings of the Storm that just happened this weekend and put it in there, it's not going to be much better than what we're going to be seeing from these teams that are coming out from
So
God
what's
knows
the
where.
difference? So what's the difference, except for the fact that all the people who are going to be on the shitty teams are going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers?
Boatloads of just the amount of
There
eyes.
are plenty of other popular people you could get who have at least played the game once that like would at least throw up some decent fight.
Like who?
Whereas Naniwa's squad
Like who?
would just get crap.
Who's
There's plenty of
popular?
popular streamers like DJ Wheat plays the game all the time. You got Total Biscuit. I would rather have Total Biscuit and DJ Wheat than the
They're
Naniwa
probably in the-
squad.
they're probably in the
Naniwa's
other-
first game was less than a month ago.
I
You
think
kidding
they're
me?
doing that.
Those
they're
people are
doing that for
probably in the
BlizzCon
YouTube
thing.
one.
Yeah,
they're
the
probably in
YouTube
the YouTube one.
personalities.
Okay, but still, like it.
Yeah.
If you want
mean,
to
I
just
get what
bring
you're
out
saying.
random personalities, then go full personality on it. Don't have two of the like arguably top teams in the world
But-
going up against Naniwa and Cloud9, who like is just a bunch of randoms.
Okay, hold on. What? Cloud9's not a bunch of randoms.
All of these people have
There's
talent,
three
and these guys have
people
all,
For
there,
heroes,
yeah.
they are randoms.
they have talent, and it's
Everybody's a random to heroes. What are you getting
That's-
at?
that's-
There's only 20,000
yes.
people in the game.
I'm
If
with-
that.
I'm with Kevin here. Everybody, if the game is still
Then
in
don't
alpha,
invite the top two, like some of the best teams in the world, who are just gonna stomp them. It's gonna look like crap. It's gonna be a horrible.
The thing is,
game.
here's the thing. Here's the problem. They went to 4 organizations and they said pick up your squads. This was not Blizzard's call. Some squads went with real players. Other squads went with big personalities. There was probably a clause like you have to go with people that have some kind of esports background or they're at least involved in the game or something. Like there has to be like yeah, Dunk Train. He's not the biggest League of Legends player ever, but he's involved enough, and he's enough of like a personality when it comes to heroes. There's a middle ground, but it's the teams that decided their squads in the end, is it not?
Okay, so
I
to
think-
counterplay that, when the Team Liquid thread came out and the people got announced, almost no one that was coming in because they saw Sheth's name. They were like, "Oh, hey, Sheth, great! Like he's gonna be on there." And then like anybody that looked at that was like, "Oh, Sheth and friends." So to say that like they had to require some kind of like following or anything, I don't see it there.
Someone let Dread speak
I don't
because
see it at all.
chat's going crazy for him.
No, I fall in the middle ground, and I think that's half the issue with how they're doing it is that they failed to find like a middle ground. It's like I agree, the marketing 100%.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
am more than behind because in the long run that really helps like the entire scene, which I think is going to be awesome whether it has me in it or not. And then I think the issue is two of the teams that already decided are going to throw away something. Like, they're going to end up going there, and they're likely going to be having a very dominant performance. And I can tell you, as a viewer, if I didn't know what the game is, I would want to see the top-tier games, and as a game that's trying to be sold as competitive. If you're going for a complete casual MOBA, Blizzard, then you're still doing it wrong. You're inviting people who have been there working their butts off to try and be some of the best in the game currently.
So
like they needed to find either a way to be like, here's our competitive and here's our marketing. How cool are these guys? And these guys are better than these guys. Let's watch the best that we have currently, or just go all marketing.
But even then, like, okay, so you have a whole bunch of like people who have a whole bunch of followers, and I agree. You know what? I agree 100% that if they were going to go for marketing, they should have just went with a whole bunch of marketing teams. Oh, that was up to the organizations, and I think maybe Team Liquid thinks that they're going to go a little bit farther with this squad than Fnatic did with what they wanted to do.
Yes.
Again, it comes down to organizations saying, why would I want to invest that much money into this when I could invest my money elsewhere? So not a lot of them, I'm sure, are picking up Heroes teams for long terms, if anything.
That was the largest reason why SMG wasn't picked up. Is because
and
a lot of them didn't want to dedicate full time.
And Fnatic is probably just like, we've worked with all these people before, and they probably just sent out literally just sent out an email like, hey, anybody who's worked with us before,
players,
do you want to come play Heroes?
Probably did.
Want to come? And Team Liquid was probably just like, Chef, we know you've been playing this game. Let's just bring on some people and see what we can do.
Yep.
C9
right.
was literally just like, I don't friggin' know. I don't know any of these people in any of the teams that are actually at the top, no offense, except for maybe Arthalon, he might know from SMG.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, well, let's just bring in some League people because, well, we're rolling in League people. So I can see a lot of, and I understand that the community is like upset, and I'm upset too. And I saw somebody who's like, "Oh, casters are different from players." Yeah, we are different.
Yeah, we are.
There's only 2 casters at every event for the most part, And if you're not one of those two, guess what? You're going to be casting Playhem for 6 hours every freaking week for billions of hours, hoping you get your cut. So don't come to me and say players try just as hard as casters. Anyway, once you get to the caster spot, like it's so good. So it's just give me the deepest, darkest stare.
So
I don't know. I wouldn't have minded any of this if they didn't put up the facade of a tournament.
They
I think
did
that's
it.
the biggest thing.
They've always been saying exhibition. They've always been saying exhibition.
It says right on it, the first official Heroes of the Storm exhibition tournament. Like the way they phrase
so
it
still says exhibition, right?
Right, but the way they phrase it, if you read, like, just read it, and you'll see what it says.
It says tournament, but it also says exhibition.
Right,
I mean,
but again, this is BlizzCon.
It's like if you're trying to like have like if you're trying to like advertise your raceway track, and you're like, we got all these famous people like the Foo Fighters and all these other like to just racing cars. Would you rather go to that than a whole bunch of random people you have no idea who are good at racing cars, and you just take it on their, the knowledge of?
So are they racing cars, or are they racing cars?
They're racing cars.
But are they racing cars to compete, or are they racing cars?
Of course, they're going to be racing cars to compete because it's a raceway. You always have to race. If it's a race, it's to compete.
Yeah, so there's the difference there. Like, it's not just random people doing whatever. Like, they're actually trying to achieve a goal. Like, it's not an exhibition just event because they say it is.
But the thing is, you guys are looking at this in terms of being competitive players looking for a competitive tournament,
right?
And you're looking for.
Why wouldn't I do that? Why would I not look at that from a competitive aspect?
It's a casual game.
I'm a competitive person that's looking for a new game, right? Like, I'm just a viewer, a competitive person looking for another game that I want to play.
That's the point.
There's a lot of people that are. The main market for this game is a MOBA. Like,
all right.
We need to quit using that it's a or a casual game bullshit line. Like, no, it's not. Blizzard does not take that like Blizzard's. Oh, it's a casual game. No, Blizzard wants this game to be competitive. They want this game to succeed. We need to stop using that altogether. This is not a casual.
But like even on the side, like it's a MOBA, right? The main goal of a MOBA battle, whatever you want to call it, hero brawler, it's PvP. There's no PvE in the game. Like, you're playing against other people, which inherently it's competitive. So if you're looking at this game to want to play a PvE game, why wouldn't you just go over to WoW? Like,
all right,
the people that are going to be watching this are going to be people that have at least some drive to be competitive.
The game's in alpha.
Like the tiniest of it.
We can't stress enough that this is an alpha. We just put on a huge production here, and we got like 450 people to watch that. That's a drop in the water. That's like nothing. There's not a lot of people watching competitive heroes, so it's negligible. I hate to say it, but it's negligible. The current people that are interested in the competitive community are negligible. They're marketing.
I'm not saying that at all.
Now,
for the record,
they're not trying to market. They're not trying to tell us that this game is casual because a Blizzard employee that works on the balance design team emailed me the day after Kings of the Storm asking for the replays for balance purposes. They're looking at competitive heroes. They're watching. The community managers are watching. The engineers are watching to find bugs. They're reporting it. The balance designers reached out to me personally and said they want to review our replays. That means they care. They're seeing things and they really care, and they want to make this game competitive. Getting that email,
they care about competitive, but it's not like their sole drive is to make this new competitive game, because you know what, they did that with StarCraft 2, and StarCraft 2 is still kind of wonky in whether or not it's actually good for competitive or not. And yeah, there is a competitive play, and Matt, you're completely right that there are. But the problem is we are looking at this with the bias that we're trying to make this a competitive game. When you look at exactly what Jake said, 400 out of the 30,000 possible people who were watching, and that's of the players themselves, and that's not including people who are just interested in watching the game.
Right. So what I'm saying, when I say competitive, I don't mean like tournament playing.
Look at League of Legends. League of Legends gets maybe 1 million viewers when they have 23 million people playing the game every month.
Yep.
Right.
What tournament are we talking about?
That would be...
For League of Legends? LCS probably...
1 million would have been Grand Finals last year.
Yeah, Grand Finals last year. The Grand Finals.
When I say...
more than 1 million.
Yeah, Worlds is 1 million if you're looking at like just China. It's somewhere in like the 5 million range. But... what I'm saying, when I say competitive, I'm not talking about people who actually go out and compete in tournaments. I'm talking about people that play a game not to just be at the most basic level. Like, people that actually play to try to improve themselves, to try to play against other players and better their experience by doing it that way. And that's the audience that MOBAs attract. I don't I've been playing MOBAs for 10 years. I've never met a single person who's come in and said, you know what, I'm content with just getting stomped every game. This is still fun for me.
It's gonna get there.
I have never once met that person. Not in 10 years.
Never been in Bronze League
know.
of League of Legends.
No. Those are the
Even
cooperative players. That's where they go.
Right, but like, that's not the audience that I don't think anyone aims for in these games. Like everything that they do is based around balancing PvP. It's based around showing different things that are involved with PvP. And so when it comes down to an event like this, I would imagine that the idea is that they want to highlight PvP to be as good as it possibly can, not some just mess.
So
that's to me is the
That'll
biggest.
happen later on, though.
Hearthstone
They don't have
last
to
year.
really.
Why would they do it later on when
This is the
point
premier
that
event. This is going to have so
event?
many eyes on it.
Yes, but Hearthstone
like-
last year, tons of stomps. Good.
All
good,
right, listen.
good
Hold
finals.
on. Can you actually compare Hearthstone to Heroes? Is that a valid comparison?
For
It's
the
a 1v1
average
game
spectator
that's
that's-
turn-based with cards.
For the
Like,
average
does that
spectator that
actually
is going to
equate?
be at BlizzCon, yes, I can.
Dude, I seriously watched TI4 this past summer, and I had no idea what the shit was going on the entire time. I still loved it. I mean, did I know that was good plays? No. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I tried to ask him to put on the noob stream, but it didn't even matter.
You're comparing TI to what we're going to be seeing at Blizzard.
Yeah.
You're comparing actual professional teams playing a game at an extremely high level, which you just said you enjoyed. But now we're going to be seeing people that don't understand the game at all.
Just take
And
a
we're gonna be
minute.
What I'm saying is that nobody understands the game. Nobody knows what's going on
Yes.
in this game.
Guys, we're just
So
repeating
nobody
we're just repeating ourselves over
We are.
and over and over again, and I'm gonna just cut this discussion because we're just saying the same things over and over again. So on a happier note, Kings of the Storm 2, we've talked about it a lot, and it's an event
Competitive.
this happened this weekend.
Competitive events. Hooray.
Competitive event, yes. I think that's enough about BlizzCon. It's we're talking in circles. And so Kings of the Storm 2, if you guys have not seen it, the VODs are on YouTube right now. It is an event that Matt and I co-casted and co-ran. It was a trying experience that we talked about a little bit earlier today because we learned a lot from it. The VODs have some kind of screwed up audio because my computer is freaking out as I've had a ton of issues today. I don't want to reformat, but I'm thinking I might have to. I don't know what's going on. But all in all, live events are now a possibility. Really cool. The replay client. We have the Observer client. I think we're going to be seeing more of them. We've already had a few people reach out to us about different things. Some live, some not live. Just people inquiring. And I think we'll be seeing a lot more of that. Now we saw that ESL started doing their events. And we had Tetcher and Technolinks casting over there this Sunday, and I think they have another event happening tomorrow night. That's for the EU scene. But really, do you guys think we're going to be seeing a lot more organizations hopping on in because of this possibility here? With the open broadcasters, or the Observer client, and the green light for tournaments?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't see why we wouldn't.
Oh, like there's still like a huge gate on who can do things. Like if you're a tournament organizer and you want to run heroes, but you don't have heroes, then congrats, you can't do it. So I mean, if they have the access to it or they're willing to fund, like a town hall event, then sure, come on us. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you could run a Heroes event without actually having access. It would just be a little bit more complicated.
Well, you'd have to like do it through people instead.
Right. I mean, in an online event, that's kind of how it works, anyways. Like, there's at no point where I can actually go into like someone's room and be like, "Hey, your match is now."
Well, yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you just have to sort of.
it's easier for
accept
people
that
to do it,
sign up.
but it's not fully open. Like, not everyone's going to just dive straight into it and start running
Right.
events. But
Right.
the option is definitely there.
Yeah, I actually just realized we're actually really short on time. We have to be under the 2-hour mark. We ranted a lot more about BlizzCon than
Excuse me, we are under the 2-hour mark because we didn't start till 15 minutes after.
Okay, good call. Good call.
Oh.
Good call.
Oh,
So-
snap.
He's on it.
All right, we
Jared's
talked about
on it today.
We talked about Kings of the Storm a little bit already throughout the show. We highlighted some matchup, we highlighted some play styles, but Dreadnought, what can we do better as a player?
As a
team?
player,
What I mean, from the player's perspective, what can we do better?
I think not having a person cast and manage at the same time. Like once OMG or Omega Black Mage OMB Omega Black Mage got in and it was starting to like tell me when I could and couldn't do things. Like
was me.
that
That was
that
me.
was
okay,
was
either
actually-
way. Okay. either way, once I started getting like somebody could help me at all points in time, it felt like it was good. But it seems like while you guys were casting, I needed information, and it wasn't like available to me right away. So then I think it was Iacona who actually hooked me up with the information that I needed. I would argue that would be it. And then other than that, I mean, I guess I can't say much other than please give me monies.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe if you had looked at the captain's thing that I sent you, maybe.
Maybe. I recognize that you did do something in order to stop it, but it doesn't change the fact that eventually something other than that's going to happen, and somebody there to help would always be good.
yeah.
Yep, that's the plan for the next 2. I won't actually be casting in them. I'll be adminning, and I'll be passing the casting stuff off to a couple of pairs. So what you just said is already in the works. So that's good.
Jake, you're still going to be casting, right?
I'm not going to cast every week. The way it's going to work is they're essentially going to be weekly qualifiers, and then there's going to be a monthly. So Kings of the Storm 3 will be a monthly, and everything in between. Matt hasn't really said how he's going to brand.
Weekly.
Yeah.
That's coming out tomorrow.
It's
just going to be Kings of the Storm
1, 2, 3, 4, and then the big ones will be the next one will be 3. So the full productions where we use all my gear and we actually have the heroics on the side and we do all that and we have the live casting environment. I'm going to continue ramping those up, increasing the production value of those. And we'll have Black Mage, myself, and Matt here. We'll be switching out through the casting. I'll be doing some production stuff here and there. We'll have a nice whole setup for that. So I'm not going to be casting every single weekend, especially because I want to be able to cast other events too. Which we'll have an announcement soon for some other event we're casting.
Yeah. Hopefully at some point we'll get to announce the event that we're casting this weekend.
Yeah, so, I mean, in terms of prizing, absolutely, that's the end goal. The end goal is to have a professional enough broadcast. I mean, we didn't wear button-up shirts for no reason. We want to look legitimate. I spent a whole day doing graphics. I used to do all that stuff. We had a pretty seamless production. I think the production was pretty solid between being able to follow the bracket with us and just the overlays and all that. We're just trying to have a good
casting needs a little work.
Casting needs work, yes, but that's one of those things that'll come experience. Observing needs a lot of work. I'll be the first one to admit that I need to practice observing a lot, and I will be practicing it off the air quite a bit. Every time I'm dead, my death timer, I'm just like observing the game, like casting in my head. The end goal is to obviously have some kind of sponsorship and have some kind of prizing, for sure. Because playing for glory is great, but I'm sure it gets old, Dreadnought.
I've been playing for glory for 4 months now, I think.
The next
every day.
This Kings of the Storm weekly is prized, so that'll be coming out tomorrow.
No, yeah, that'd be sweet. There was something else that came to it. Oh, I wanted to just say, like, production-wise, I thought it was definitely one of the best events like ever released, especially being the first live one, which was impressive as hell.
Thank you.
So, like, you not only innovated, but then also innovated in, like, the overlay and how it was done, and everything else was really well done. I would say, ideally, I know I'm really pushing it here, but this would be, like, an ideal scenario. If you could actually have somebody analyze and, like, do, like, a replay system after the match. So, like, do, like, this was a really good play here and, like, actually do a replay of a highlight that, like, won them the game or lost them the game. That would be really sweet. But that's definitely some top-tier stuff right there.
That's on the way.
I need a TriCaster for that. I need a TriCaster to do that.
I mean, you don't even need that. You guys
had
so much downtime in between games that there's so many things you could have done to still time.
Well, the issue is
semifinals on, you didn't have downtime.
Right. I mean, Kev said it, but the issue there was that when we were in downtime, we weren't actually in downtime. Like, I was catching up on any admin stuff I needed to do.
We're running and producing the event. I'm, like, changing graphics, like, making sure everything's good to go, like, doing that all behind the scenes.
That's why I think
I'm
just suggesting you just have more staff. And I mean, a lot of people will always offer to do that. It's hard to staff
when you're live, too.
No, but you can have people who do, like, the admin stuff. Be like, contact Archlord for any.
Well, I mean, basically,
that was a shout out to Playhem. Zoya missed it.
Playhem was like
we had
a
three.
Not including casters. We had multiple admins. We had people who would moderate chat. We would have people who would set up show matches. We had a group of casters.
And that was for 700 viewers.
Yeah,
you know what?
So you can have community members help admin, help run chat, help do stuff like that.
The
Matt,
only,
do we have
DreamHack did
issue
that
with
for you,
that is
too.
that I don't like using admins that I don't know extremely well.
Well, obviously you
Well,
don't.
you're not gonna know them the first event, but after that,
Keep
Yeah,
an
but
eye on if
I
it
don't,
keeps showing
like-
up in chat, and maybe make a
But like
post.
my events, I try to run as tight as possible, and so I don't like I've done it. This isn't my first event. This is my 175th, 7th.
He counts.
Like that. I counted till 150 and then I stopped. But
Until-
like I've done it. I used to work for Solo Mid and I did it. Like I'm not new to this whole scene. But there's certain things that I like to do a very specific way. And I haven't been able to. If I find the right person, then
Well, you definitely can't keep adminning and casting at the same time, or we're gonna keep
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he's
mean, I
planning
can
on
if
being
people
more of an
follow the
admin.
directions.
okay, well, we can take all this suggestion offline because we're still doing a
Yes.
podcast, and we
Very
should
true,
probably
very
get out
true.
of here.
Well, on that note, any feedback that you guys have at all about Kings of the Storm, disregard the crackling and the white noise in the audio because I'm well aware of that and fixing that
Shout
in the
out to
VODs.
Twitch.
But the Twitch broadcast, basically we had to restop, and then it didn't save our broadcast, and that caused a lot of issues in our recording in the aftermath. So apologies for that, but the VODs are on youtube.com/soliddigtg for this event. And just send us feedback. Send us like what you guys think. What did we miss? Obviously, with commentary, I've been getting a lot of feedback from other people as to how we can improve with that. That's going to come with time. But thanks for bearing with my abysmal commentary this weekend. I'm sure it was,
Abysmal's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Wow, thanks. Jim. Hey man, you got to start somewhere. So, but that's Kings of the Storm 2. You'll be able to find the weekly coming this Saturday. Casters, have they been announced yet?
No.
Casters.
One of the pairs is already solidified. There's one left to decide on. So we'll see who that second set is going to be, hopefully within the next day.
Okay, well, Matt's cat is ready for the show to end, so we're going to move to our shout-out segment while the cat meows ferociously. Dreadnought, before you get picked up by Complexity or Dignitas or whichever team is lucky enough to have you guys under their brand, you're still known under Symbiote, so why don't you do your shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to everybody on the team, as always, Mad Timmy, Soldier, Arthalon, and KO, and then Caddy, our manager. You guys can get a hold of us on Twitter. I'm at Dreadnought Hots. My Twitch is at Dreadnought Heroes, and then our Twitter for our entire team, where you can find all of us, is at Symbiote Gaming. Other than that, shout out to you guys for hosting everything and allowing me to be on Town Hall for a second time, even though I'm lame-o. Other than that, then thanks to everybody who watches everything that we do. I really enjoy being able to be doing what I do, so thanks.
Moving over to Zoya.
Yeah, you can follow me at IVD Zoya. Check out the team, IVD Gaming. Puck is doing really well right now. And we also have a few of our lower level players playing.
Say
And
that every week.
Puck is just so good at StarCraft right now. He is insane. And then we have
So in right now, Puck.
there is a
So hot right now.
So
up and
hot right
comer
now.
league starting by that Fear Dragon guy. I forget what it's called, but we have a few of our players playing in that, so make sure you go check that out. I did a bunch of casts from the replays of King of the Storm number 2. I'm going to post the Reddit thread in chat. I think I goofed on it. Yeah, that's right. I post the Reddit thread in chat. Go watch the VODs. They're interesting games, and any feedback on that would be nice. Follow the stream, follow the YouTube channel, follow the Twitter. King of the Nexus will hopefully be back this Sunday. We were going to do it. Nope.
Sorry, I'm getting last minute travel stuff that's apparently coming out of nowhere, so I'm gonna be.
Okay, King of the Nexus will be back when it's back. And that's it for me.
Kev.
So yeah, you can follow me at twitter.com/am2schamtoo. As I was just saying to Jared to rudely cut him off, I've got a whole bunch of travel coming up in the next week or so probably going to be time out on a lot of the stuff that I've been working on. But we'll see how that all goes, depending, once I get done all that. And then Blizzcon, which is going to be amazing. But
We're all going. All 5 of us right here will be on it, as well as Kubi.
Going to take another week.
Oh, it's
Yep.
going to be glorious.
Glorious.
No, Glorious isn't playing.
Matt. Oh, Kev's going still.
That's about it for me.
Matt.
So you can follow me on Twitter at CSTeve. That's it for that. You can see me on Reddit as well. if you want to do Jake and myself favors, follow Jake on his stream whenever he does Kings of the Storm. You'll see it there. I've actually created a bunch of Kings of the Storm Twitch accounts and Twitter accounts, so you can find those, just / Kings of the Storm. There's 1 and 2 there, so find those, and that would be awesome if you guys could follow those, so when we go live on those channels, you'll actually know that they're there. And that's pretty much it. Just working on the scene, and hopefully we get to see everybody that's here if you're going to BlizzCon, hopefully I'll get to see you at BlizzCon. We are setting up a Reddit meetup thread type thing. It's slowly in the works. It might happen. We'll see what happens. But keep your eyes on the Reddit. You'll see it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having me.
So if every single viewer could go follow my Twitch, that would be huge, because my Twitch, I'm trying very hard to get partnership right now. I mean, partnership helps so much with everything I do. It helps me afford new gear so they can get better equipment, not have a computer that's failing me with these casts. And so I really need to ramp up my Twitch. I've been streaming 40 plus hours a week ever since the game came back, and I will continue that trend and doing lots of other shows in there. Clairvoyance, we're going to have an episode this Thursday. For sure, we're going to be doing, we might do, like, honestly, 2 interviews on Thursday for Clairvoyance, and we might do more later in the week. So we're going to be interviewing a lot of people, just a lot of good content over there. So I would appreciate that. YouTube, with all the VODs for everything we do, is on youtube.com/solidjakegd for Clairvoyance, Town Hall, and some casts will be there for sure. And, Twitter, of course, too. Twitter's great, yeah. But till next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for dealing with the horrendous overlay breaking on us. Technical issues that we should be able to hopefully resolve before future shows. But Dreadnought, pleasure having you. Looking forward to meeting you in person at BlizzCon. It should be a good time.
Yes, sir.
Just a few weeks away. And yeah, that does it for Town Hall. I can't put up my little graphic and music. I can't do any of that. So just gonna kill the stream awkwardly. Bye.
He's probably have to just turn off his computer.
I actually have to Control-Alt-Delete this, or Shift-Tab escape.
Alt.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch this
Control
happen.
Shift Escape.
Control
Watch
Shift
the
Escape.
world burn.
Control
Gosh,
Shift Escape.
best exit ever. Let me just find XSplit here. And I don't know if this is actually going to work, but let's try it again, guys. Bye. Oh, Control-Alt-Delete's in front of the screen. Bye.